we're at the very beginning of Native Tongues, of that legendary Native Tongues run where you don't fit in at all.
Right.
Like, not with any of these people.
Yeah.
The name is super appropriate. Black Sheep all of a sudden makes way more sense. De La Soul was on that hippie wave. Tribe was sampling jazz records, running around Afrocentric as shit. The Jungle Brothers was wearing military, quoting James Brown and you know, all the Soul Brother and Straight Out the Jungle.
Right.
And here you come, fresh out of jail.
Right.
But then you also had NWA, Cypress Hill.
I just mean
Ice
for the
Cube,
crew.
Def to
Oh,
Type.
yeah.
He
just-
fit fine
also-
with that, but for his
not
crew,
just
the
for the
crew-
Native tongues.
Right,
yeah, the
right.
crew
Right.
that birthed him, so to speak.
Yeah. Nah.
There's nothing alike with any of those dudes.
And you know what I'm saying? Like I think that that played well for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think I was New York enough that I was home, but I wasn't infringing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't infringing on anything that anybody had going on.
No one else's lane.
Right. And I was very, very humble, very grateful to be in the room. And I recognized the power in cats. I think that they didn't even recognize in themselves at that point. Like, I saw them as powerful, and especially once
Something leaking.
Yeah, something leaking like crazy.
oh, that's ice.
Nice. All right, all good.
Like I understood how powerful these brothers were, especially when Tribe came out. Like, I was able to kind of like put the picture together. You know what I'm saying? Like before Tribe came out, it wasn't, you couldn't really see the native tongue as far as the entity.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw groups and you saw friendship, but once Tribe came out, it was kind of solidified. Oh shit, it's a black movement here.
So who spearheaded that?
Jungle Brothers. Jungle Brothers do not get the props that they deserve as far as making it community. You know what I'm saying? It was them that probably coined the phrase native tongue. You know what
I
I'm saying?
credited Red Alert for that. It was the Jungle Brothers?
It was the Jungle Brothers. Red was the overseer. I think Red was the uncle.
Okay.
But
okay.
being the uncle, he was outside. Red was Red. But we was kids that was playing together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like Red was the older uncle that mentored and made sure we got home to mom, you know, like whatever we needed to do that needed some supervision, Red was there for it.
So on a larger scale, the four groups went to Red's house to smoke weed,
Right.
play records,
Right.
write raps.
Literally, I spent many a night over Red's house, over his mother's house, over grandma's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, many a night.
The same way you did back in the Carolinas with
Yeah.
the original crew.
Yep. I spent many a night over at Red's, and me and Red bonded really, really, really well. Like, Red is an amazing person. Red is dope, so dope. And Red put me with Chris. You know what I'm saying? Let me just kind of like once me and Long got together and he's got these stacks of records. Mind you, one of those 3, 4, 5 records, one of those was Counting Sheep from our first album. Word up. I remember that specifically. One of those was that track. And we had no equipment. You know what I'm saying? But he's putting it together in his head. When we finally got into the studio and started making demo and things of that nature, like, it was like wow, like, this shit is really happening. And not only is it happening, we're not just doing this shit to be doing it.
That is a goal.
You know what I'm saying?
Purpose.
Like, we had Red waiting to hear it. We had a room full of amazing artists. You know what I'm saying? For us to be able to play our demo, it was like this room, and it was De La, Tribe, and Jungle. Baby Chris, the Beat Nuts before they had anything out. Red might come in, but for us to put our demo on and be like, yo, I know I've been hanging with y'all for a while now. This is what I could do.
When did y'all decide Black Sheep?
And
When
who
did
came
you
up with
and
that
Long-
name?
Yeah, when did you put that together?
I came up with the name, and what happened was this. I'm seeing the opportunity. Me and Long are living together. And once I kind of got cool with everyone, I'm like, yo, we can put some shit together. Like, yo, putting beats together. I was like, yo, you rhyme probably just as nice as anybody in this crew. And I'm like, yo, we can do this. We didn't have the money at the time. I still had some jewelry, you know, some Gucci links and shit like that. I take Long to a pawn shop, pawned everything I had on jewels, gave him half the money. I said, yo, we partners now. Let's go book a studio session. Let's bring it to Red. I don't think we have a problem getting a deal, man. I think we could really get a deal. Bet. So now we need a name, and so now
How
we're
many
looking.
songs did y'all record by this time?
At this moment, none.
None. You
None.
just got the
Okay.
you just got the money
None.
for the equipment.
Pawn the jury.
Pawn jewelry went to the studio. We still had no equipment.
Right.
We go to the studio. We telling the engineer, like Lone's telling him, you know, take it from here. You know, like he knew how he wanted it to hear it. So he didn't know how to work an MP or anything of the sort. So he's telling, you know, the engineer, all right, take it from here, loop it to here. You know, take this horn from here to here, layer it here. You know, it's like he's literally walking him how through it and giving the engineer an education on hip hop. Because the engineers was white boys that didn't know hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So we're literally explaining to them how to layer a track. You know what I'm saying? And Long had all of these fucking things in his head because he was just a sound DJ. He could blend them in his head. You know what I'm saying? So he's blending this record with this record, knowing he could speed this up, knowing he could slow this down. And so he's got the engineer doing it. And the engineers are looking at him like he's a fucking prodigy. Like, you what? Do what? Like, you know, like, that's not gonna make sense. Oh shit, it's making sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know, and so that's how we was coming about it. And
The name.
so the name came about whereas we're looking at cats. All right, these cats are this, these cats are this, these cats are that. Like, yo, we like the black sheep of these niggas, man. That was it. We the black
Then
sheep
of
these
course
niggas.
the choice is yours.
Which came, it came a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Our first joint was, we get the deal. First joint we dropped was Flavor of the Month,
With
Right,
who?
right.
Got to deal with who?
Mercury.
How did that
Polygram.
happen? How did that?
But you had to walk that demo into a bunch of different places.
Walked him into a bunch of places. One of them I was telling you was Leo Cohen at Def Jam, you know what I'm saying? And when I was down south, everything we saw that had Def Jam written on it, we had to have it. Like, I was the biggest fan of Def Jam. Like, everything that had Def Jam written on it, whether we heard it or not, we had to have it. Like, that's how much it meant to us. That's how much Def Jam meant. That's how much hip hop meant. So when we finished our demo and we blew cats away, cats are bugging like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are nice, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And it's different. Y'all are different. And mind you, the cats I'm hanging with, they didn't know my story. I never came into the room was like, yeah, I'm just coming from da-da-da-da. Or, you know, last year I was da-da-da-da. I never spoke on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was grateful that Long was bringing me into this room as opposed to me taking him to my projects.
Because you
type
get
shit.
to leave that past behind.
Right.
You get a new start.
Right. And I didn't want to bring that. You know what I'm
So
saying?
Tiki is now Dres.
Yeah, right. So now I'm meeting these cats. We play our demo. Red is blowing away. Red has a great man by the name of Funkin' Klein, Dave Funkin' Klein, God bless the dead, who passed. Funk makes a bunch of calls for us. Chris, he pulls Chris in. Yo, I think you should manage him, this and the other. I love Chris already. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We have been around each other for a little bit. We've been hanging out for the entire summer. So we done been to a bunch of parties. We're hanging with friends. You know what I'm saying? And Chris, Black Sheep was the deal that got Chris's career started.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, Chris had a
knew that.
company called Baby Sounds, which was prior to Violator. The Black Sheep deal was the first professional contract that Baby Sounds had ever done. You know what I'm saying? Negotiating our deal. To the degree that when we got paid, Chris came to me and he asked, would it be okay if Polygram cuts the check to Baby Sounds and Baby Sounds cuts the check to Black Sheep? To which I'm like, I wouldn't have it any other way, man, because you come on, you with us. Like, you know, like we here, like that's fine.
But the Def Jam thing didn't happen. You talking about going in the league.
Right. So I get to go to Def Jam, which is like one of the probably about 4 or 5 different labels. We get meters at. I go to Def Jam. I walk into me and Long walk in the office, and Leo Cohen's behind the desk, and it's like when he sees us walk in, now mind you, when you bring it in someone's office, they announce, you know, like his secretary, whatever, he knows we're coming in, but he's acting like, you know, like we're not there. And he's talking on the phone and he's getting louder. Then he starts bad-mouthing Slick Rick, whom I'm a tremendous fan of. And I'm like, yo, who's this white dude, man?
Wait.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What?
like he's like, fuck Slick Rick. This, that, and the other. Y'all, he can kiss my ass. And I'm just like I don't know who this nigga is. I'm looking at him like, yo, who's this white dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You know Def Jam from Russell Simmons.
yeah, right.
Simmons
So,
was
You know
Ruben.
from Blackface.
so I'm assuming that he's somebody that Russell just got working for him. I don't know what capacity he's working, but I do know I'm not liking his mouth, like talking about Slick Rick. I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this dude? But, you know, quiet, you know, but in my head, I'm like, this dude is wild. So I put the demo on his desk while he's talking. And like, if it's January, when he gets off the phone, yeah, what? He's like, what do you want? This and the other. And already his tone is crazy. I'm looking at this dude like, yo, Black Sheep, Red Call, you know, it's our demo. He looks at our demo and he pushes it like, if it's January, he's like, I can't listen to this till March. And I'm like, huh? Yeah, I can't listen to it. Like, we're in his office, equipment. He could put it in right now.
And press play.
And press play. He's like, I can't listen to this till March. And pushes it. I look along, I'm like, man, shit, I grabbed the demo. I'm like, yo, we be signed by them. I'm like, come on, we break out. The next day, at my crib in the Bronx, phone rings. This is before cell phones and shit. And phone rings and it's Leo. Off the rip, I know it's him. Is this Dres? Is this Dres? I'm like, yeah, this is Dres. This is Leo Cohen. I have a limousine on the way to come pick you up. We're gonna sign you over here at Def Jam, this, that, and the other, yeah. I'm like, yo, dude's just in your office. Like, what are you talking about? We have a limousine on the way to come get you. This, I was like, have you heard our music? Pause. I hear it's amazing. I hear it's phenomenal. I'm like, yo, my dude. Like, you can call a limousine, you can tell them to turn around, man. Like, nah, we good, man. We gonna be all right. Like, you know, and we didn't even have a deal at this moment, but I was like, nah, not this dude. And just that energy confirmed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you know, like you're, it's one thing if you're a snake and I don't know you're a snake. It's another thing if you're a snake and I know you're the snake. I'm looking at this nigga like, nigga, I was just in your office. You can press play, but now you got a limousine coming? Nah, we good. Keep all of that. That's not what I'm signing up for. You know what I'm saying?
We were just talking about the kind of energy you had to have when you were inside.
Right.
And how you wanted to avoid putting yourself
In a situation.
Is this one of those?
Definitely.
Because the energy he had.
Definitely. It's my word. And I've said it kind of jokingly, but I really mean it. Like, yo, I don't want to stabbing this dude just off of his energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how I really felt about him. Like, yo, nah, I can't do. Like, when Chris went to Def Jam, I was like, Chris, I can't go. Like, I'm not, you know, like, they're not managing me, man. Like, he went to Def Jam to learn what taught him. He took from Def Jam to create Violator. And I understood that. And I understood they were doing him a favor. And I understood they were grooming him and this, that, and the other.
And you respected
and we were his group, right?
Right.
And I respected it to death. But I, you know, had to just straight heart to heart with him. Like, yo, Chris, yo, do what you gotta do. I can't do that. Like, I already know what that's gonna be. It might not be today, but it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I already see it. So he was like, you know, he laughing, this, that, and the other, but he got it. He's like, yo, I got somebody for you. He introduces us to Shakim over at Flavor Unit. And, you know, we had Flavor of the Month out at that time. So it's not like they had to do anything. We was already kind of a moving machine.
Bubbling, right.
And it was a nice fit. We got a chance to be close to Log, meeting Tretch and them, you know what I'm saying?
That's Queen Latifah label, right?
So her management.
Her management.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
always thought that was her label.
Well, I think they went on to put out some records. You know what I'm saying? But it, you know, sort of strictly as management. They had Naughty, and I think they had RSO, which was the Boston Cats and what have you.
Cats, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they had us, and you know, LaShawn, what have you. So it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Nice was over there. Shakim.
Yeah, Lakeem
Freddie
Shabazz
Fox was there.
Fox, yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and
Strong unit.
Yeah. So it was a good fit. You know what I'm saying? It was a good fit. And, you know, at least for the moment. And so that was the beginnings of us taking off as Black Sheep. And you know, the Flavor of the Month I thought was gonna be a big single because like Flavor of the Month was probably one of my favorite songs ever recorded, and at the time, it was just so creatively done, and especially to know how the nuances of the record, how Long kind of freaked the sample, and this is at a time when you'd be playing the mixing board like an instrument, like you'd have different hands on different knobs trying to get the drops right and shit like that, just before the automation, and you know what I'm saying? And I thought this song was insanely different and dope, and it had to take its main competition when it came out was OPP. If OPP hadn't been out when that song came out, I think Flavor of the Month would have been tremendous. But OPP definitely gave it every bit of motherfucking trouble that it could want.
What was it like
That was a
when
big
y'all
record.
came?
Big
But
record.
what was it like when y'all came up with Flavor of the Month? I can't imagine how nuts the room must have went when you pressed play on that joint.
On Flavor?
Yes.
Yeah, man, like it was just so different, you know what I'm saying? Choice was as well, like the remix of Choice was insanity, but Flavor was just early and it was just infectious. It was soulful and infectious, and I really had you know, big hopes for the record. I thought it was gonna be a really big record. And so right off the door, it was a little bit humbling to see that, you know, like, especially that I looked at OPP as a little bit more gimmicky. Not that it's a gimmicky record, but it was a little gimmicky, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you
The
know.
Michael Jackson sample and
Down OPP, you know what I'm saying, a little stick, you know, a little, okay, other
That
people.
was like back in the day, Annie Up. Other people property is
You know
like
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
back in the day, Annie Up.
little something,
Yeah.
little something. you know
call,
what
the
I'm saying?
call and response nature of it.
Right.
I get you. I get you.
Right. And it was definitely, the packaging of it was definitely better than ours. The way OPP was packaged was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? The stickers, you've seen it everywhere. It's a play
You down
on
with OPP, right?
guys and girls could play with it, you know what I'm saying? Beautifully done. And Vinny, I love Vinny from Naughty. That he's the glue. I like Vinny's the glue, and just, you know, good people. So when we was coming with the second single, we were like, okay, we have to do some shit that just unequivocally makes a statement. And like Long, when I heard the track that he had for the remix, I was blown away. I was like, oh shit. like I had never heard anything like that. I was like, oh shit. And Long was like, yo, y'all was gonna give this to Chi. I was like, no, no. Yeah. He's like, gonna give this to Chi. I was like, no. And before you give anything to anyone, play it for me. Just play it for me first. Because if you was about to get this away, you know what I'm
Lord
saying?
knows what else. Right.
Right. So we wound up doing a revamp. I wrote 3 new verses for that version, and recorded them. And you know, we turned it into the label, and the label's like, this is amazing. But you know what? I like what you did with this engine number 9 part right here. Let's just make that the remix. Let's use the first 2 verses of the regular, and then let's just make that the remix. You know, like, this is our first deal. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're telling me that's what's gonna work, then let's do that. Cool. Wound up being a great call. So we wound up, you know, the first 2 verses pretty much the same. I said them over, but, you know, they pretty much the same. And then the third verse, that whole part was wound up, but it was originally 3 new verses, but people are hearing, you know, the third verse differently. And I remember being in the studio with Long and we mixing it. And it's just me and him and Greg Mann. And we mixing this record. And I just turned along and I'm like, yo, I don't know what we just did, but I do know we just did something. I don't know what's about to happen, but I know something's about to happen.
What
You
made you
still
come
tour
up with
off
the
that song?
concept?
Huh?
Do you still tour off that song?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over the world.
What made
Literally.
you come up with the concept of the choice is yours, like this or that, and you know the choice is yours? Like what mind frame was you in when you were writing that?
Man, so much of the writing of that project was done in a village, in a time when the village was very artistic. At the time when if you was meeting cats, you'd meet in the village. Literally, like, you know, we'd meet in the village from every borough. That was like the meeting spot. And this is my word, and I always ran with either a black book or I had like a little bag, like a little leather bag. A little leather bag had a little thing in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you always saw me with it, you know what I'm saying? But I always had pen and paper. And I'd sit in Washington Square Park at a time when Charlie Barnett, the comedian, would have a circle of people around him telling jokes, but the opener was a young Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Dave
And
Chappelle.
I'd be sitting right next to this shit, watching a young Dave Chappelle that no one knew, open for Charlie Barnett, writing rhymes for Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. The Village was just a really artistic endeavor at that point. And, you know, it's always had the little limp wrist aspect to it. God bless, you know, ain't no problem with none of that. It was the artistry that I loved about it. The artistry of the Village was dope, man. It was like, you know, like that's where we met. That's where there was so many clubs down there. We bounced from club to club to club to the studio.
Fat Beats.
Yo, yeah,
That everybody went to.
Yeah,
The Cages.
Yo, man, like
House of Nubian down the block.
Man, shit, pluck you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like it was just
Electric Lady.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember.
It was just all there, and you know, and we'd just be out there like just vibing, just people watching, just putting shit together in our heads, beat shopping, man, running around and just learning ourselves and learning New York on a whole different level. So a lot of that album, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, was conceptual to me.
Right.
I very intentionally, it's definitely A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. I very intentionally didn't take you where I came from. I very intentionally didn't tell you about what I just dealt with. Very intentionally, you know what I'm saying, like told you other things as opposed to something that was gonna put you in line for what I just got off of line. You know what I'm saying? And that was very much a conscious decision within myself because I didn't want to go back there.
Right.
Why would I put someone in tune with that? Like that was my feeling. And I was a little disappointed with cats. Don't get it twisted. I love the reality aspect of where we from and what we deal with. But it's bigger than that sometimes. Like when Biggie was talking about cats on a Peter Pan bus, I had niggas on a Peter Pan bus. So I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this to him, but in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm literally hitting niggas like, nigga, nah, the Peter Pan bus ain't good no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how real shit was to me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't talk about my story because my story is bigger than me. I don't talk about niggas I came up with because niggas I came up with still get money. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't talk about a lot of things because it was much bigger than what I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to put you, like, this is my word, man. Like, when you go through that gladiator school, man, like, that's nothing that you want anybody to experience, man. You hate that you had to. You know what I'm saying? So I was always in tune with that. And don't get it twisted. There's times when you'll definitely get a taste of where I'm from. But where I'm from isn't who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of cats have to grow to that. You know what I'm saying? Where you from is not who you are. If anything, where you going is more who you are. You know what I'm saying? Where you from is where you going, nigga. Word, that's what's really is about. You know what I'm saying?
So you had the native tongues, you had all of these groups, all these classic albums that dropped, right? 91, right? How did all of that break apart? Like what happened?
I, in my opinion, and this is where I was telling cats, and I remember the conversation very specifically. What are we doing? Motherfucker can't write a check in native tongue. What are we doing? We should be incorporated. We should be touring. We should be doing shit together. We should be a unit that is killing it because everyone knows us. We could tour, we can make records, and we can control everything under the umbrella. If motherfuckers come to a native tongue show, they should be sitting, drinking native tongue water with a native tongue umbrella, hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do all of this shit. And I remember Mace from Daylight telling me, it'll never work. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. And I'm like, get the fuck out. I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, we could do this. And which was the reason why, like when I saw Cats wasn't headed that way, one of the first things I did with the success of Black Sheep was I'm probably one of the first MCs to have an imprint. I had an imprint, I had my own label, One Love. I brought out The Legion and a group called Image. Back when niggas didn't have it. I didn't know anyone had an imprint before me. And I got upset with Polygram because I did a deal to bring out the Legion and Image for a couple of $100,000, and that's when Puffy got a deal from Arista for $9 million. And I'm looking at Ed Eckstein like, nigga, you gave me a couple $100,000 and you got me competing with niggas with millions? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at him like, come on, man. Like, you black too, nigga, this ain't even your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, you know, I had a lot more to learn. There was definitely agendas above my head that I was in fights that I didn't realize I was in. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in life, you'll find yourself in a
Spook
fight.
that sat by the door.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know,
Jingle Jangle would have win.
yo, this is my word. Like, we had an ability to win if we would have had the support. You know what I'm saying? When the Black Sheep second album came out, like, Legion comes out, Image come out. Image is a female group from Oakland that no one knows who they are, but probably was the West Coast SWV. Amazing album they released. Amazing. But when Legion album come out, Image comes out, and the Black Sheep album comes out, and I look at the spine of the Black Sheep album and it says Bulk Sheep. I was like, this shit is over.
Shit.
I was like, this shit's a wrap.
That's crazy.
The spine on the Black Sheep album on the second album says Bulk Sheep.
How they fuck that up though?
Like
How you
right.
mess that up?
That
Pure
shit,
intentional.
but-
It was
crazy.
intentional.
or
It
a
was
statement,
intentional.
or a statement.
Yeah, it could have been that.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody was.
It could have been
It's
intentional.
intentional, bro.
It was a major label. They gave me an imprint to put out other groups. I'm on a major label selling more records than everybody on this label at this point. And y'all misspelled the second project? It was very intentional.
Wow.
Very intentional.
Did you go see somebody about that?
No, I left the label. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna play this game with y'all. Like, me and my dudes already, and me and Lone started having the problem that happened with Native Tongue, why I didn't move forward, because once we got to the place where we didn't need each other to win, once it got to the place where De La self-sufficient, Tribe is self-sufficient, Jungle self-sufficient, and Black Sheep self-sufficient, then the need for us to be together was removed. Whereas prior, we all moved together.
But was that out of need or desire? You were all friends. You were all cool. You were all peoples.
But we all we were all growing up too.
Then there's that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Early in
like
your career,
right.
first album for
You
everybody.
know, like, yeah. But from there now, you know, like, somebody's getting married, somebody's having a kid, something like real life starts entering.
Separate lives.
You know what I'm saying? So once it got to the place where we're self-sufficient, which is a beautiful thing.
Facts.
It's a beautiful thing that, you know, like, you know, okay, each individual group is doing it. We're winning as individuals. But it stayed in my head, like, yo, as well as each of us are doing as individuals, we'll do much better if we're together. Like I saw the big picture. Us, that you can't write a check to Native Tongue right now is embarrassing. How the fuck you can't write a check to Native Tongue? Shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's something that motherfuckers should have been doing.
Nobody would listen. Nobody. Chris, Red, you couldn't get anybody to.
You know,
With all the stuff that Chris Whitey was learning over at Def Jam, he couldn't think to.
I think, you know, like I said, like, you know, like, then, you know, there's now individuals are starting to come into play. You know what I'm saying? It went so far as, see, I'm the type of cat like this. If we all came up together, it don't make no difference which one this year is at the top of the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of cat, if we all doing something together and a check come through, we're gonna split it evenly. It don't matter who's at the top of the totem pole. If I'm at the top or not, we're gonna split this evenly because we all jumped the turnstile together. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. That wasn't the case with cats. It became, well, I'm at the top of the totem pole this year, so I deserve blah, blah, blah. Nigga, that's 60% of what we got. There was shit that came through, but niggas wasn't trying to play fair. And I'm looking at niggas like, what the fuck is, come on, man.
Shady, it was shady.
See, here's the thing, right? Here's my thing, right? I agree with what you're saying as far as like y'all brothers growing up and everybody being self-sufficient, right? But then I also look at the fact that the music industry itself, the labels, the execs, the puppets, the puppet masters, they specifically put things in play to cause disorganization. as well, right?
Right.
Along with what you said. So
you're right.
what happens is now, all right, Black Sheep, Tribe Called Quest. Like again, y'all wasn't conscious rap, right? But
yeah,
Well, they
we
were.
were.
yeah,
We just
to an extent.
didn't
and
really.
thank you for explaining that whole part about you not wanting to tell your real story in your raps, because then you would have been put in a certain category, right?
Facts.
But you had NWA coming out. You had Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. You know, you had the Chronic. You had all of these. Now you have gangster rap coming into play.
Hard, heavy.
Heavy. So what is Jimmy Iovine? What is Lyra Cone? What are these record execs and the people above them looking at? Oh, this is the wave right here. You see how much they pack in the show? Let's start to slowly remove all of this native tongue conscious rap out the way
I gotta stop you there.
and put this gangster rap into play. You don't agree with that?
No, it was bigger. It was much bigger than that.
All right.
Much bigger than that. I hear what you're saying, but I got two things to say to that. What wins is what's supported. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about dumbing down something. It's about smartening up something. They played us, and they still playing us. And the cats that you just named, the names you just shouted, and more, are on the other side of the fence, even though it might look like they're on this side of the fence. And I'm gonna break it down real quickly. It's a bigger game. Hip hop is now, not even hip hop, rap music is now a pipeline to the federally funded privatized prisons that are on the stock market. So if you really take a step back and you look at this, once they started the syndication of radio, probably the same year that they started the privatized prisons, America has more fucking private prisons than anywhere in the world combined.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These prisons are on the stock market. Now, a federal fucking funded prison gets money for being full. They get federal money for being full. Has nothing to do, that has nothing to do with crime, the crime rate, this and the other. So motherfuckers are filling their prisons to get their quota, to get their money. Whose kids are they gonna put into these prisons?
Ours.
The children of slaves. It's a modern day plantation. How are we gonna get the children of slaves into these prisons? Well, let's take away anything that might sound like it's gonna talk them out of prison.
Conscious rap.
Let's make it so that everything that we push, if it's played here, it's played there, it's played there, that's the syndication. It's the same playlist all across the whole fucking country. The same playlist.
And it's consistent.
It's like
And
what's
it's
going on with
poisonous.
the drill rap right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
it really
everything
never
you hear
stopped.
now
Right.
is
It really
drill.
never stopped.
It's poisonous. We're gonna remove anything that talks, anything that balances it. Anything that balance, and that's where we won. We came up in a time of balance. Yeah, NWA existed, but they was right behind PE, which was right behind, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, EPMD, yeah, they might be, you know what I'm saying, they gonna go get some money, but that's right behind fucking Rakim. You know, like we had
right with Big Daddy
food
Kane.
talkers, right. We had real motherfuckers that was saying real things that were gonna give us some understanding of, yeah, the block exists, but the block's not the only thing that exists.
Right.
As opposed to today, where that's all you get. That's all you get. And now it's all young kids that are literally being funneled. Look at the times we living in. Look at what these kids do. They can't even have a disagreement without a pistol coming out. So we're in a place now where we was already there where they wanted us to have a felony by 16. But now these niggas is bidding by 16. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing of value in rap music right now. Not even the money is a value. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing motherfuckers are standing on that's honorable. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we're not seeing that they have effectively removed black men from households. You know what I'm saying? And a crazy stat came out. 70% of the motherfuckers in prison are from single mother households.
I saw that stat.
Yet, the single father household is the same as a mother and father in the house, the kids that's in prison.
Stat-wise.
Stat-wise. A single father is holding down the kid the same as a two-parent household when it comes to that kid going to prison. But the single mother household,
Has all the statistical
70%
disadvantages.
of those kids are in prison.
Right.
What's that say? They've effectively removed us, put a motherfucking price tag on you checking your kids' homework. You know what I'm saying? Because a woman now wants money for things that ain't even got nothing to do with the child's well-being.
Right.
You know how much a father's glance saying don't do that is worth? This shit is invaluable. They put a price tag on that. And he's not there to be like, no, because she bought into the system of you're not providing something that the state will give me. And that the state will, and I'll make them make you give it to me. So later for you cooking dinner, later for you doing the dishes while I'm going to work, because every dynamic doesn't have to be what they said it has to be. In some households, the woman might go to work and the father's holding the kid down. As long as it's a family, as long as it's a nuclear family, a word that I learned when I was 40 years old, a nuclear family, then we win as a community. That's where we lose. The community, you know what a community I've learned a community is? A community isn't a bunch of individuals that live somewhere. It's a bunch of families that live somewhere and the individuals around it and how the individuals affect the families of the community. Look at every other community. It's families and the people around, how that affects the families. Ours is the only one where the family isn't the nucleus. But every other community, the family is the nucleus of the community. They've effectively dismissed ours, put our children in plantation, you know what I'm saying, and make money off of it on the stock market. We are modern day slaves. And we're too caught up in what this nigga said to me on IG to even recognize it.
So it's bigger than the music.
It's much bigger than the
It's
music.
much bigger. Like you said, it's a
Look at the
pipeline.
play. Look at the play.
How long did you know that for?
I've been peeping it since I understood that motherfuckers make money on the stock market off of privatized prisons. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Was that during your career?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like they've taken away a cat like me that might have something to say that might be to the contrary of I blew that nigga's brains out. They've effectively muted us. You know what I'm saying? Like and the nigga that's talking about I blew that nigga's brains out, let's get him on the show tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're pushing. And the cats that are, you know, like these are babies, man. Like, you know, like, yeah, these cats are about it, but by the time these cats realize what happens, they're already gone.
How do you fix it?
We fix it by standing up.
What does that mean?
That
Be
means
specific.
that means that as a community, we start speaking truth to power, man. We start talking. We got to take away the mentality of hater.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because once money really got involved, okay, now you don't want to knock a nigga's hustle, but a nigga's poisoning the community. You know what I'm saying? So we'll sacrifice the community for this nigga to get rich? Nah, that's not what we do.
Do you answer? How do you answer when someone says, and I'm playing devil's advocate?
Nah, please, because these are the conversations we need
When
to have.
someone steps to you and goes, "Yo, you a hypocrite. You a hypocrite.
You know what?
You
I think
did time. You had cracks in your
Yeah.
pocket. Who are you to tell somebody else not to get money?
Right.
And you got friends who are still getting money. And you ain't saying nothing to them. So who are you to tell anybody anything?
and I will stand up and let them know I'm the motherfucker that gives a fuck about your well-being. Word up. I'm the motherfucker that wants you, that sees you are so much more than you see yourself as. Yo, this is my word. Like, even the cats that I know that are still getting money, the object isn't to get money. The object is to do something with the money so that, you know what I'm saying, that affects change. You know what I'm saying? Even the cats I'm shouting that, you know, that came up from that, they're not trying to get money to disenfranchise our community. They're trying to get money to build something that helps our community. The cats I fuck with own shit. They're working, they're hiring people, and they're teaching their children the difference. You know, like I tell anybody that has to hustle, part of hustling is having the goal of not hustling.
The exit plan.
Right. That's the hugest thing. You hustle for a number. The number represents what you're about to do. You know what I'm saying? To not hustle. That's what hustling really should be about. You hustle to not have to hustle. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you might have to take a calculated risk and take a penitentiary chance on occasion. But you do that so you don't ever have to do that. You know what I'm saying? You do that so your kid never has to do that. And you share the experience. Like you speak to it. Like, you know, like you don't glorify it and make it so that you can do just like I did. I hustled. You can hustle too. Right. Nah. Like that's the worst shit you can do. That's the worst shit you can do. You set shit up where it's understood, yo, I put it like this, motherfuckers picked cotton, so we ain't gotta pick cotton. Don't get it twisted. You can still pick cotton, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have to pick cotton. You know what I'm saying? Like we're way beyond that. Now, if you choose to go pick cotton, because that's what you've been taught, then, you know, that becomes something where you've decided to limit yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I can't stop you from limiting yourself. You know what I'm saying? But if you step back, you come to see like, oh shit, there's fucking oranges, there's fucking tomatoes, there's fucking grapes. I ain't gotta pick this cotton. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a gamut of shit that I can be doing if I choose to be in this particular lane. And we're not seeing the gamut of shit. We're just saying, this is what they told me to do.
You didn't touch on areas like this in your albums, though. Every so slight, like, I remember a slight street element to Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. I thought the name was created because you're rolling around with all these Afrocentric peace, love, and harmony dudes, and here you are pulling a gun out in a skit and having freaky songs about threesomes with Q-Tip and Long and like wilding out. So I was like, oh, that's the Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. I would have never thought that.
I mean, but there's also cuts like Black with Envy, Black with No Vision. You know what I'm saying? Where we're speaking to directly what we're talking about now. And, you know, and one of the things I think I also learned, you know, just in my company, is that I learned how to say things in a roundabout way. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the dopest things I think about the natives that they taught me was, like in me trying to find my voice, I couldn't sound like them. So I had to find a way to say some of the things that we were saying, but not how they were saying it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it really made me step back and have to think of just witty ways to say something that you might not even catch in this moment, but eventually you're gonna bump into. And throughout my career, I think I've evolved much closer to who I am in this conversation as opposed to who I was at a Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, like my later projects, you know, the first two were probably the major label ones, but I've released 4 or 5 independent projects.
Right.
That and this is my word, at a bar that I feel is very high. Like I never chose, you hear artists say, yeah, I had to dumb down to get the paper. I'm not an advocate of that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to dumb down to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that hurts more than that helps.
You do everything a disservice.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'd rather pull you up than bend down. You know what I'm saying? Like that, but that's just me, and everybody's not trying to be pulled up. I'm also a big advocate of, you don't have to be a nut to make something hot. You can make an intelligent record and it's hot. People just gotta be behind you.
But that's your background though. You went to school surrounded by smart black kids and all of a sudden wanted to be one. You stop wanting to be a class clown when you realize that that wasn't cool in that environment.
But I also, that same kid went on to hustle, went to Rikers Island, went to Halfway House, and, you know, them pulled guns on some artists and the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You pull guns on artists?
man,
This
listen.
is where math would go. Who?
Yeah.
I can already hear him
You
in
know
my
what I'm
head.
saying?
Who?
Who you pull the gun out on?
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, straight facts. You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't know it. Like, I'm not one of those cats that's gonna blah 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 and I lie and I come from. Nah, I got a real cool way about me, and I don't want to show you something that you shouldn't even have to see. But if you force my hand, then my hand is forced.
So has anybody ever? So who has forced your hand in the music industry?
I mean, you know, like I'll put it like this: like cats are gonna push to see how far they can push, and you know, without putting anybody on Front Street, I'm a cat that, you know, like, you're not gonna push but so far. Matter of fact, you probably not gonna push me. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I come from is just much realer than cats have any idea as to my walk. As cats know me, then they learn certain things. But I've been around everybody that we've all been around. And my story is different. Nobody took nothing from me. No, you know, like nobody's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's not because I'm big and bad. That's because of my company, where I come from with it. And if you put me in the position where I gotta do something to you, you're fucked. I'm not gonna say it again. That's just my walk. I'm not a big bad dude, nah. But I'm from Astoria projects. I'm from the Blam projects. Like, the shit that niggas is talking about, like, nigga, like, that's Thursday.
Right.
Like, you're not saying nothing. And I don't run around with a bunch of niggas. You see me with a bunch of niggas is a problem. It's not that I don't know a bunch of niggas, but that's not who I have to be in life.
So have you ever had a situation
Where I had to back some niggas up?
up? Yeah.
Yeah,
In the industry.
yeah.
I can imagine that. Look, you
Yeah.
run with native tongues. I'm sure that there were
Yeah.
people who thought it was soft.
Yeah, no. You know, like, it's my word.
That's no disrespect to native tongues.
No,
I'm just saying, like,
because they real cats. They
Right.
real cats, but they're intelligent enough to not have to be what you think a nigga is.
So has there
know
ever
what I'm
been
saying?
situations at like shows, studio sessions where things happen and you like, I got to take it back to who I used to be?
A couple of times, you know, like I definitely hope a cat sees enough in me through conversation that they realize, oh, I was bugging. You know what I'm saying? Which happens a lot. I'll see that a lot in conversation. Like, you know, I'll hear somebody's words, and then once we start having a conversation, they're like, oh shit, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, where they realize, oh shit, I had them pegged. Oh, my, huh, honey? Yeah, okay. You know, all right, whatever. Nigga. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot. And that's only because I'm not boisterous. I'm not the loudest nigga in the room. I don't need you to know I'm here. And all, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my walk. But, you know what I'm saying? When somebody's, you know, leaning like they want to know something, yeah, all right, what you need to know, I got an answer for you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, I can remember, I'll give you one. I'll give you one. It's a funny one. The What a Man video shoot. The What a Man video shoot, it was Salt and Pepper's song. They had In Vogue there.
In Vogue.
Tretch and Pop, right? And I was interested in meeting someone from In Vogue. So Flavor Unit.
Which one?
You know what I'm saying? And so
my math impression again.
So my people from Flavor Unit kind of knew I was crushing a little bit. It was like, yo, they shooting a video, this and the other. Come on, I'll run you over there. So she runs me over there, and I'm just wide-eyed. I get there. And so Pac's there, Tretch is there, and they're playing the love interest of Salt and Pepper. Spinderella sees me, is like, damn, Dres, you should have been my love interest. And I'm like, word, I should have been. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm disgusted, like, how damn I should have been here early enough to be Spin's fucking love interest. You know what I'm saying? Like that was, you know, Spinderella, you know. And
Right.
big shout out to Kenny Anderson who scooped Spinderella. I was amazed at him. Like, you are the man. Everybody loves Spin. So anyway, so I'm at this video shoot and I'm really crushing on the girls from Involve. But my boy Tretch is like, yo, come smoke a blunt. So I'm like, all right, cool. Go outside. The kid that's playing Spinderella's love interest, he's the driver's seat. We in a van. We in the van. He's driver's seat. I'm sitting next to him. And Tretch is behind me. His boy Mook is with him. And then there's some reggae dude is in the back. So niggas is rolling up weed, you know what I'm saying, putting on beats. And all of a sudden niggas start rhyming. Now I'm, you know, just chilling, but I'm peeping as niggas rhyming. Niggas is sounding like they going at me.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, you know, I'm sitting in the van, we smoking and shit. And I'm like, you know, like,
And you wasn't even rapping. You wasn't even rapping.
I'm just chilling. I'm on the video set. We just stepped out to smoke a blunt. We in the van. Niggas put on beats, and niggas just start going to rapping. And then when it gets to the Dread nigga, he's like, Dres, they coming for your head. I remember this shit. Dres, they coming for your. And I'm like, if these niggas don't stop.
Is that Mad Lion?
Nah, it was bad. Like, it's some miscellaneous nigga.
You just said the voice and the
Yeah. Nah, you know, yeah.
But you outside the battle.
Yeah, but mind you, and this is another thing too, like, I'm, at this time, at this particular point in my life, I'm not well-versed in battle rap. Like, I'm not well-versed in you attacking me lyrically, and it's just, I come back at you and that's it. I'm looking at these niggas like, we got a problem? Like, straight up, like, I'm literally, because I'm not a battle rapper, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at these niggas like, oh, these niggas is coming at me? Like, and niggas is rhyming at me. So when it comes to me, I talk around. But I'm trying to tell niggas like, yo, y'all got the wrong fucking nigga. And I'm telling these niggas like, nigga, I will pull the trigger. And none of y'all's gonna get any bigger. And you know, like, but I'm talking to these niggas. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking, but I'm priming. And I'm thinking I'm getting my point across. And then niggas start going around again. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, these niggas is really like coming at me.
Yeah.
But you know, when niggas is coming at you in battle form, they like, you know, nigga out there, nigga. And I'm like, now I'm reaching and pulling shit out. Like, I'm like, is these niggas about to, like, I'm really like, little, like, oh shit. Like, I don't know what these niggas is doing. Now, as I got older and got to see battle raps and shit, I realized I probably just should have rhymed back at niggas. You know what I'm saying? But at this moment, I'm thinking I'm in jeopardy. I'm thinking like, yo, these niggas about to move on me? Mook gets out the car. Now I know Mook. Mook's Tretch boy. He gets out the car and he goes to his car, he comes back to the van with his jacket off with either it over a baseball bat or a sawed-off shotgun. Right? So now games is over to me. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, I'm like, oh shit, like these niggas is really fucking me up. So the nigga sitting next to me, who's playing Spinderella's love interest, I think he sees me. I got my little leather thing. I go in, I pull a 380, and I just sit on my lap. And so they rhyming, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm like, you know, like I'm not who y'all niggas think I am.
So they was threatening you in the rhymes?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, niggas is,
But why everybody was just coming at
niggas,
you though?
because I'm a skinny, pretty, halfway curly nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been there, it's all good. But this ain't gonna play how y'all niggas is thinking. All right, whatever. So niggas is going, you know, they going in. So when it comes back to me again, I'm like, yeah, I don't think y'all niggas heard me. Like, you know what, I once again kind of talk, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but listen, I'm gonna take it even further. I'm gonna get out this fucking car. And anybody that feels any way about anything I had to say right now should join me. I get out, I put the gun right by my side, I'm standing right there, waiting for the van. And this is my word. I'm looking at which way I'm running. And I'm a little bit nervous because I'm like, I'm really in my heart thinking like, yo, I'm gonna have to air these niggas out. And I'm like, waiting for the door to open. The door doesn't open. But I stood there And I gave them niggas ample opportunity to open the door. If this is what we about to do, this is what we about to do. This is a young, dumber me. I should have been able to address niggas and have a conversation, but I don't know where niggas' heads is at, and niggas is threatening me, and niggas just got out and bought something back. I don't know what's going on, but I do know if this van opens up, I'm airing this shit out. I stood there for a minute, didn't open up. I'm in the Palladium parking lot. I walk through the Palladium parking lot, put shit up, walk through the Palladium parking lot. I go into a pizzeria that's connected to the parking lot. I order a fruit punch. When he puts the fruit punch on the thing, my hand picked it up and just the whole shit just spilled all over the goddamn counter. My hand was shaking so fucking much. I'm like, God damn. I put on like a half a cup. The rest of it was just spilled. Like I was like, yo, I gotta get the fuck away from here. This shit is crazy. I didn't go back into the video shoot. I just went home. Right? Like that's how crazy. That's how much I knew what I was willing to do. And I was like, yo, dude, you just almost traded everything in. For these niggas? You're bugging, Dres. Get out of here, Dres. You're bugging. So I go home. So maybe 2-3 days later, I get a call from my cousin F. My cousin F was my road manager. My cousin Double F. If anybody from Lawton, Queens, you know Double F. Boom Bash, big shout out to Boom Bash crew. So my first cousin, like that's my road manager, and you know he's cool with everybody at Flavor Unit, and so I'm talking to my cousin on the phone, and I'm telling him what happened. I'm like, yo, nigga, this and the other. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, I'm in Houston right now. Tretch asked me to hold him down while he's filming Jason's lyric. I said, get the fuck out of here. I said, yo, tell him the story I just told you. Ask him what's up. He said, I'm gonna talk to you later. So I talked to him later. He's like, yeah. I told him what you said, and he told me, he's like, that wasn't about nothing. You know, like nothing was gonna happen. This that, and the other niggas was just, you know, feeling you out. This that, and the other. I said, okay, cousin. Well, I'm just letting you know. Be careful. If you need anything, you know, I'm just letting you know what took place a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. Tretch never brought it up. This is the first time I'm even speaking on it, and I'm speaking on it because it happened. Like it ain't like there's an allegiance to not speak on what happened. You know what I'm saying? I got love for dude, but shit, that shit happened, and it could have went a bunch of ways, including not in my favor. Thank God we where we at. Everything's cool, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'd let a nigga, you know, immediately know.
Right.
And, you know, there was times I remember being in Grant Park, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of niggas tried to follow me around like I wasn't gonna turn around and Eddie's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I let niggas down. Yeah, y'all gonna walk around with me? I let niggas down a fucking one way. Like, come on. And once niggas really realize, oh shit, this nigga is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, I'm not from there. And most times when cats saw me, I had something to hurt them. But that's not what I'm about.
So that type of attitude and the way you were at that time, young and ignorant, is that the reason why you weren't on the scenario?
Oh, it wasn't on scenario?
Yeah.
No, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't had nothing to do with me not being on scenario.
Okay. All right.
Scenario was just something that that Tribe and leaders did when they was in the studio together.
A timing thing. You just weren't there.
Yeah,
Just wasn't there. Okay.
period. And I think they went on to do about, you know, Tip did about 10, 15 different remixes. I think Long was on one. You know what I'm saying? But once I heard the original Scenario and then I heard the massive remixes, none of the remixes was touching the original. I already knew that, you know, like none of that shit was gonna matter. Like in all these remixes, that original Scenario was just for noodles. That shit is sick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew, you know, like ain't no point in me even, why would I jump on, nothing's gonna compete with this record. This record is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even try to do. Plus it was, you know, like I wasn't invited. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on being invited. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not just gonna pop up and try to jump on your shit. But big shout to De La Soul. De La Soul actually put me on the first record anybody ever heard me on, which was Fanatic of the B Word on De La Soul Is Dead. That's the first record cats ever heard me on before Flavor came out.
Right.
So
That was
you
one
know,
of their best albums. De La
Yo,
Soul Is Dead.
De La Soul Is Dead,
That was
amazing
their
album.
That was a 5-mic album for them.
amazing album. And Long was hilarious with the skits and you know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
What was with all these filthy skits, bro?
You know what? I think that was more Long than me. Like Long was always talking about his
pervert.
He's very perverted. Long was very
What's his
perverted.
freaky, his
whole
name is
name? though?
Long.
What's his whole name?
The
His whole
sugar
name
dick
is
daddy, Mr. Long.
Yeah, see, all freaky. All freaky.
No freaky.
Yeah.
I thought you knew that.
Pause.
That's why.
You know? Yeah, pause. Yeah,
got a
yeah,
pause
yeah,
thing.
yeah. You know
Dog.
what I'm saying?
So
You know,
who's
he
your
said it in a
favorite
rhyme.
collab? Who's your favorite collaboration?
That's a lot of joints.
What's your favorite? Like, this was it right here. It was magical in the studio. Everything went right.
You know what? One of my favorite collabs is Roll with the Flavor.
The flavor unit.
Yeah, the Flavor Unit
With
joint.
everybody on
Because I remember that session, and this is my word. Like I was late to the session, so when I get to the session, everybody's in mode. You know what I'm saying? Cats are laying verses. Other cats are here finishing their verses. You know what I'm saying? It's Latifah, Freddie Fox, to D Nice, to, you know what I'm saying? It's like big boys in the room. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so I get a pen and paper and I just go find a corner and I'm just looking around and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the cats in here. And the first thing that comes to my mind is like, yo, these niggas, you know, like some real shooters in this motherfucker. Hence, well, shit, you got a 9, and you got a 9, and he got a 9, and she got a 9. Well, shit, this is a motherfucking party, yo, because I got mine. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I just fell into the shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the record you wish you had been on?
The record I wish I had been on. Woo!
Because you weren't on as many as
As I would have liked to have been.
you didn't do that Busta Rhymes run, and you had it in you to do.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly feel like I had to remove myself a little bit, though.
So that was on purpose that you weren't.
When me and Long broke up, that was me stepping back. I was in a space where the whole East-West shit was popping off. And I'm looking at niggas and a little disappointed, a little hurt, and seeing shit play out in a way that was bigger than individuals.
Why were you disappointed?
I'm disappointed because motherfuckers are not moving together. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our opportunity to correct shit, to be better than. And anytime we looking at each other like we not brothers, we looking at each other wrong. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we looking at each other like we not family, shit is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the first skit on the album was about, on Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, where I'm killing all my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mom, you broke my fucking egg yolk and all that. Yo, that's what it really was about. Like, anytime we lift a gun up or a knife or somebody to a brother or sister, we're so broken down as a community that we could be related. We literally could be related, but we don't begin to see that in each other. You know what I'm saying? But they broke us down as slaves. You know, you say your mother here, you say your father there, your brother, sister here, and we never seen each other again. For generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. So anytime we willing to do something to each other, we might as well be at home willing to do it to our family.
Who's each other?
Each other is me pulling something out to take something from you.
No, I mean, who's each other? Like, when you say who each other, does that mean like black people?
Black people, yeah. Yeah.
You don't think that each other is all mankind?
Not in this instance, no. Not in this instance, because in this instance, systemically, for generations, we've been pitted against each other
But
while they look.
But do you think that might be a demonic influence?
Honestly, to a degree, yeah, but to a degree as well as definitely a devilish influence, definitely.
But that wouldn't change the result.
It doesn't change the result, but it makes you identify the enemy. And what we do mainly in our community, and mainly as, not even our community because that gets misconstrued, mainly what we do as people is identify the wrong enemy.
Right.
We wrestle not against flesh. And that means all flesh. We are all children of God
Right.
when it comes down to the bottom line of it, no matter what color you are. If you are breathing, if you are any type of life form, not even goes to the fly and the
Right.
roach.
No,
that's
we're all
crawling
children
by.
of God.
We are all children of God, and we are supposed to respect the life that God has blessed us with.
If I may though, there's a walk that isn't displayed that we as a community would display given the opportunity. I don't think we would be them. Matter of fact, I know we wouldn't be them. You know what I'm saying? But we don't get the opportunity to be us. You know what I'm saying? The lesson that we could teach them, we never get to teach them because we can't get past being us. And so I'm saying in this light that in order for us to make the world a better place, we have to start with our community. In order to make the community a better place, we have to start creating families. You don't have to be rich. You have to have a family. You have to have a family that you sacrifice for, that you support, that you're willing to go down with, and you're willing to rise with. That's the foundation of us having a community. Everybody else is just fucking single stragglers. You know what I'm saying? But each man comes to the table with a family. Now we're making the change. Because the child that grows up amongst family has a different set of values, has a different understanding, and teaches different things. He doesn't lead with a pistol. You know what I'm saying? He leads with love. He doesn't lead with lead. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference in what's happening in our community. What's happening in our community to ourselves would be circumvented with family. It's really simple. Half of these kids wouldn't be doing half the shit they doing if there was family. And we look at that as something so trivial that it can't be it, but it's it.
This speaks to your past again. This speaks to your past again. And your best life as a child is when you had your mother and your stepfather in Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
All the advances that you talked about came from that.
Came from a
you saw this firsthand.
Yeah. Real talk. I got to see the difference, and I bought into it. You know what I'm saying? And I bought into it like, oh shit, like this is me at my higher self.
Playing trumpet,
Yo.
playing tennis.
And I agree,
And writing.
I agree
Singing.
totally with that. And I just want to make a point to that.
No, go for it. Baby.
Yeah,
So, what you say is family. I totally agree with that, and God is good. Because I just had this conversation with someone earlier, and they grabbed my point right away because, they understood. So, what you just said is, we look at our family in a singular setting. So you're looking at your family as your children. But
we need to look at it in the global.
exactly.
No, I'm with you.
My
with you.
child is your child. So what happens to my child when he puts on your video?
Right.
And looks at your video.
Right.
And now
that's the minding. That's the minding that we have to
program
do.
in his mind. You see what I mean?
Right. What are you bringing to my child?
We all
Are responsible for
responsible. Your child is my child. My child is your child. We all are one.
Right.
Going further, Black Sheep raised me. I don't know how old these guys is. Black Sheep came out in 1989. No disrespect to no one in here.
I'm an 80s baby.
I know Black Sheep. You know what I'm saying? I was that kid, and I love this.
Nah, but if I may interject,
go ahead,
one thing I want to interject
Yeah.
is this. The one thing I want to interject is this. We have to look at, now, all being children of God, we have to look at outside of our community, outside of this.
Absolutely.
Outside of this,
Not about.
how does the world treat us?
All right. So going to that.
not very well.
If
At all.
you're talking about if you want to get to that, we would have to.
Because we have to acknowledge that before we're children of God, even before we're children of God, in their eyes we're niggas. And they treat us as such. Until
That's good though.
but no, it's not good until we change the narrative.
They're treating us as niggers because actually, according to them and their knowledge, we would be Negroes that come from Negro land in Africa.
You are
that
giving
they
them way too much
enslaved.
credit right now.
I'm not.
No, you
They
are.
get no credit.
No, but I'm
No,
saying, but that's not
they
why.
get
That's
no
not why they
credit.
calling us Negroes.
They
I mean,
get no
niggas.
credit.
That's not why they calling us niggas.
Why they
though.
calling us
Because
niggas?
They would never acknowledge the king in us. They would never acknowledge the king in us. They just try to deny the king in us.
But do you know about Negro land
Yeah.
in Africa?
Yeah.
So you don't know that they was calling us Negroes because of we come from the Negro land in Africa, and when we got to Spain, nigger is actually a slang for Negro. So when they was calling us Negroes or nigger, they was actually identifying where we was from.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
And you
of course.
give it 1 second thought. From what you just said to here in America right now, in Spain they don't call niggas niggas. That's American. That's here. In Africa, they don't call niggas niggas. That's something that white slave owners that never went to Africa, that don't know about Negro land, or niggas, or anything of the sort, bestowed upon us.
Where did they get the word nigger from though?
Honestly, I don't even care.
They definitely got it from Negro. But
Like not. I honestly don't think they. I mean, yeah.
They did.
I mean,
They got it
I
from
mean, Negro being, black, negro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, the color black is negro. I get that, but you know what I'm saying? But
That's not today's spin.
that, yeah, and
That's not
and
today's
it's
source.
not, and it's not an identification of this.
Anything righteous, anything.
And I
There's nothing
told-
righteous in that word.
No, and I totally understand and I agree with everyone in that chat that, and I want to make this point. We all play our position in life.
I feel like this. If motherfuckers calling you a
And-
son of a bitch, do you care where the word came from?
No.
Right.
Basically talking
But-
about your mother.
We all play.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, so when they say a nigga, like I don't care where they got it from. Like that's
They're saying it in a derogatory way.
Right.
But it's still what they don't understand. And what they didn't understand today, which is going on with the people like Kanye West and everything, now is that now it's identified you. Now you're able to look up, where did they get this word nigger from? Which they didn't explain to you as a kid. They didn't explain it to me, and probably no one in this room, because I asked the question, where did this word Negro come from? Why are we called Negro? And none of the school teachers told me. You know what I'm saying? Because if they would have told you and you would have put it together, you would have understood something that they didn't want you to understand. What Kanye said, you're the blood of Christ. But we're not getting to that. I want to get to other points. So,
yeah. I'm not a fan of anything Kanye says these days.
yeah, but the blood of Christ is what he was
I'm
talking
not a fan of that either.
Yeah.
And that's to say, and that's not to shit on religion, but as a black man, I don't accept anything a white man handed me.
He didn't hand it to you.
Yes, he did.
That's what we've been taught to believe, and I definitely
That's-
respect.
that's
Can
what it
can
is.
I give you a spin on that?
The slaves that came over here were not Christians.
Could I give you a spin on that?
Sure.
They were actually Jews,
Hence,
and they believed in Christ.
yeah. Hence, but they weren't
can I
Christians.
can I keep
They
going?
they didn't base their religion behind the words of
Can I keep going? They're the ones
Of their owner.
Can I keep going? They're the ones that wrote the scripture that's in the Bible. White man didn't write that.
who wrote it.
The same people that you're talking about. Your people, your ancestors, the slaves and beyond that. The white man did not write the Bible.
But let me
It
take it a
tells you
step
that
further. Then.
Moses, it tells you all these other people that were actually would have been Israelites wrote the Bible that you already understand that are original people.
Right.
What the slave master did was take something that you believed in and that you was already wholehearted in and used against you. That's what
To a
he did.
degree. But
And you super intelligent. We all super intelligent. So I would like to say this because this goes over everyone's head. If you ever studied the Bible, if you believe the slave master was able to write that, you're lost.
well, there's definitely things
You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible and the scriptures go totally against him if you read it and understand it.
No,
it
facts,
doesn't
but
agree
that-
with him in no way. It actually speaks of his demise.
But that brings us back around. That brings us back around to square one. The first thing I said was, when the results don't change, the why is irrelevant. I think there's room for two schools of thought. I think there is room to figure out the why, which is what I see coming from you. Here's why, right? But then I think on this front, I don't care about the why because we need to take action in the now.
Right.
Right. And I think those two schools of thought
They can coexist.
definitely meet in the middle and coexist. I think there's room
Absolutely.
for somebody who says, I don't give a fuck about that. This shit is urgent. I need immediate results right now. We have to take immediate action because the cancer is here now. I can't
Yeah.
worry about who developed the cancer. Did I wear the wrong deodorant? Is that where it came from? Was I eating the wrong food? I think there's a school for that. And then there's a school for chemo.
Right. We got
Immediate
we got to
chemo.
save ourselves right now.
Like immediate chemo.
And this is my word. Even if I put it like this, whatever man wrote that book, he was just a man. I don't move like that behind men's words, regardless of who they claim they wrote it for.
And I want to say this to you, and I said this before other rappers. You personally, you wrote rhymes and you wrote lyrics that inspired me, brother.
That's peace.
You know what I'm saying?
And find
wait,
inspiration.
Let me finish that. And those rhymes that you wrote inspired me, and I believe that you was inspired by some of those rhymes you wrote, whether you realize it or not, whether you
Divinely
admit it to
inspired.
this camera
Definitely.
or not.
Definitely.
The people who wrote the scripture was inspired as well.
Right. Right. Now, mind you, I would not want you to necessarily take my first writings and live your life by them. Because the man I grew into is not the person that wrote that.
I understand, but that's what's beautiful about the scriptures. It starts from the Old Testament and goes to the New.
Right. And mind you, as it's transitioning,
David is not Jesus.
as it's transitioning, you can see clearly incentives for some of the things that are written. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure these niggas stay in line within the Bible.
The scriptures was written way before the slave master.
But what I'm saying is, the scriptures are telling me to be an obedient slave.
No,
Yeah, hold on,
it's
hold
not.
on, hold on, hold on.
It's really
hold on.
not.
Okay. Hold on, no, hold on.
It's really
hold on, hold
not.
on.
Circle
Yeah.
back.
Well, no, because I see where we're going here. But
We in
you
church,
just
take
tou-
them to church.
No, he just touched on something that I wanted to touch on because it was something that came from a comment of yours a little earlier. Slaves. You got a major lawsuit popping right now. And one of your words is, you're not going to treat me like no slave. What's really good? Because you are suing for like
Major.
a Powerball number.
That you deserve.
When I saw that number,
That you deserve.
I
though.
thought these were supposed to help me read.
you
Like,
deserve that.
But let me enlighten you even further though. Like, it ain't even about that I deserve, because that's not what it is. It's a class action suit. I'm merely the tip of that spear. I put the shit into motion. I filed the paperwork. But the class action is this: everybody that did a deal before streaming existed needs to join me. Everybody that did a deal before streaming existed is welcome to join me. A class action suit is open to everyone that it affects. Everyone that it affects can sign up. I've given plenty cats my lawyer's number to jump on with me, because it's not about me, it's about us. And we're stronger in this fashion. This should be the new norm. Anything that happens where you need to address something, imagine that it didn't just happen to you. Fill out the paperwork, get a lawyer, fill out the paperwork, and file a class action suit and address it. And everybody that's affected, just like you were, will join you. Now, what I'm doing is this. When we did our deal and streaming didn't exist, we went from vinyl to cassette to CD. You know what I'm saying? So when I did my deal, those were the three forms. Streaming didn't exist. So how is a motherfucker gonna tell me they're gonna give me $1 for 1,000 streams? I never negotiated that. Nobody that put out a record before streaming existed negotiated that. No one. So how, once again, are you gonna tell me what you gonna give me for my
For
intellectual
your
property?
stuff, yeah, got you.
You know what I'm saying? So and you gonna give me $1 for 1,000 streams? That's mighty white of you. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, nah, that's not what we gonna do. Right, you know what I'm saying? That's not what we're gonna do. So I had to look back and find out, oh shit, in my contract, there's language that speaks to unforeseen. If there's an unforeseen way that we're selling selling music other than vinyl, CD, and cassette, whatever that is, in my contract, we split that 50-50. Which means since 2008, when y'all started streaming, y'all niggas owe me 50% of every fucking stream I've ever had. Not only me, but every artist that did a deal before streaming.
Do you own your publishing?
I own half of it. I'm about to own all of it. And that's how the shit came about, because I was doing a deal with my lawyer. My lawyer put me onto a clause from 1976.
That they only get to keep it for
35 years.
Right, you're
now,
about to get it back.
But mind you,
Serge talked about
told
that,
us
yeah.
about
but mind you, but peep the nuance. The nuance is this: you have to have the paperwork filled out and filed 2 years prior. If you don't have it done 2 years prior,
So the 33rd year.
right,
Right.
the 33rd year, you have to have it done. If it's not done 2 years prior to 34th year, it's too late,
Wow.
and it effectively just rolls over.
Oh, that's
crazy.
That's crazy. Right. So when you find out about something, you think, oh, at 35 years I could do it. You go to address it at 35 years, nigga, you missed the boat already. You know what I'm saying? 2 years prior, it's got to be in.
33 years, y'all.
33 years, it's got to be
33.
in.
That's crazy.
And if it isn't, then it just effectively rolls over.
that's
So that's why we see cats. So if it rolls over, the next time you get an opportunity at it is 70. You're not
That's
here.
crazy.
Yeah, you gone.
So now it's just rolling over in perpetuity. You know what I'm saying? So that's how this whole shit started. The lawyer I have, big shout out to Brian Levinson. He used to work, when I did my deal, he was legal affairs at Universal. So he now has a private practice. So he knows the ins and outs of their working. Now that he's a private, now we can have conversations.
Right.
He's put me on to, oh shit, like, well, let's fill out your shit. This goes here, oh, well, let's do all of that. So now we're having conversations, and, I'm talking about, the streaming and how we're getting beat and this and the other. And he's like, well, shit, maybe we should look at, this, that, and the third. And then we start digging deeper, and we find out, like Spotify did this deal with Universal and this, that, and the third. I'm not at liberty to go into specifics.
Okay.
But I am at liberty to say that this shit is not about Black Sheep. We are just the face of it. We're the ones that filled out the paperwork. We're the ones that filed the lawsuit.
How many other artists from your
Right
era?
now, there's roughly 25 artists on it. And I'm trying to fill it out. This is my word. Like it's not about me. It's about us correcting how they deal with us.
Again, unity.
Right.
You've
That's
been pushing unity all the
where
way
we're
through this
strong.
thing. Not fingers, a fist.
Right, a fist. It's not finger. And that's what New York is. Like we talk about New York, the boroughs. Nah, it's not about the boroughs. It's about New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Together we strong. And that's what I want to stress to cats on this lawsuit. It's not about me. I'm not about to get a number. We're about to get a number. All you got to do is get down. And when we have an issue, this is how we address it. We don't need to start talking about how they do us. We don't need to start talking about what they owe us. We need to go fill out paperwork and get behind each other. And then talk about it so that the community knows to support us. And one thing that I'm very grateful for, this is my word, I'm very grateful for every fucking person that's heard about this suit and is like, you know what? You deserve that. That means the world to me, but we deserve that.
You're educating though at the same time.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
lot of
because
people
I'm being educated.
Right.
And that's another thing we got to do as
Sharing the wisdom.
As you
Right.
get it, you give it away.
right. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, like this is my word. Like you know, and not this shit like on a Jay-Z or anything like that, but like the Puffs and all of them. But these niggas knew shit. But they'd rather they giving you $1 for 1,000 streams. I'll give you $1.50 for 1,000 streams. Like nigga, that's not helping. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's helping. Like we don't have to play that game so that individuals can eat.
Didn't De La just get their?
They just got their whole shit popping. All their masters back and everything. Like they about
so
to
they
be
can-
streaming
so
for
they
the
can
first
stream.
time,
Right.
which is crazy.
Can you imagine?
The money that
Had they sat down with you, had Mace not disagreed with you creating a native tongue corporation, maybe they wouldn't be going through this right now.
Possibly. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, the vision was like, yo, we come together the same way we used when we was in Calliope hanging out. We should come together once a year and do that for a month.
Can you come together with Mr. Long?
Yeah.
What broke it apart? You said you stepped back, but you didn't
Yeah.
say what happened. For
Well, you know, like if you notice, I don't badmouth Mr. Long.
ever. I've
You know what I'm
never,
saying?
never heard a word.
Nah, you know what I'm saying?
That's why
Yeah.
no one knows what the story is.
Right. And yeah, like I'd rather be silent than say something derogatory. But at the end of the day, sometimes as men you grow in different directions. And one thing I could say is this, like, you know, like Long's a good person. But we grew up differently. He was in New York some summers, but he primarily grew up in North Carolina. And, you know, I love him. I love his, you know, I love him. He's a little brother to me. But as men, sometimes you have to separate yourself from what you're standing next to if it doesn't represent the man you are. And once we got to the space where who he was as an individual it wasn't reflective of the man I am, I had to step away from that. And that's not to shit on him, but that's just to say that as men, we grew in different directions. And some of the things, and money is one of the catalysts of motherfuckers doing different things. You know, like money really just accentuates who you are.
Who you are.
You know what I'm saying? And
Doesn't
I think
change you.
Right. And I think once money came into our lives, certain things hit the table that I just didn't feel comfortable standing next to. And I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but him, he's a little brother to me. And when the day comes that the family's ready to do something, I'm gonna reach out to my little brother. It's sad because as men, sometimes I look at him like, yo, my dude, like it's not Wu-Tang. And I've been who I am for a long time. You could sit down with me any day and we could discuss our shit and move forward. But you gotta be man enough to sit at the table and have an honest conversation. You know what I'm saying? And that goes two ways. You know what I'm saying? But I'm at the table, nigga. Like, all you gotta do is pull up, we have an honest conversation and we move forward. But if you're not man enough to come sit at the table, I'm not coming to find you. That's not who I
Leave
am.
it where it is.
I leave it right where it's at. Because that's God telling me, keep doing what you're doing. When he gets where he needs to be, you'll see him at the table. I'm not trying to shit him or anything. Love him. But I ain't seen him at the table. And it's his job to get to it. And that's all I can say on that.
I got a question. You did rap support you all your life, like from when you started rapping? Or did you ever have to go back and get a job or anything like that, like working 9 to 5?
I know the answer. Go ahead.
I had a job.
After your rap, after the choice is yours and
I had a job
sheep clothing.
for the short amount of time that I was on house arrest.
Okay.
While the record's up. While I had my record out.
Oh wow.
That's another story.
That's crazy.
but yeah, I was on federal probation. I had to go down to 300 Pearl Street here in Manhattan, And for a little while, I had to deal with some shit.
Where you was working at?
I worked at Sprint for about, this is in North Carolina. I was on house arrest in North Carolina. And they made me go get a job so that I could get off house arrest.
Yeah.
So I got a job at Sprint for about maybe a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while I'm dealing with this situation. I was on house arrest for like 90 days or some shit.
Right.
And yeah, man.
Did you feel weird? You know what I mean?
Yo.
Working a regular job.
Yeah.
Anybody
recognize
come in
you?
like, yo,
Yeah.
that's
Yikes!
Yo, like I was dressed like bought a crib down south and everything, and just got a little loosey goosey there. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, thank goodness it was nothing that got blown out. And you know, like I'm pretty good about being lowbrow. Some shit took place, and I wound up on house arrest, and it was crazy because
Did you get physical?
did I get
Did you
physical?
put hands on somebody?
Nah, not really.
Oh,
Not really.
God.
Nah. It was more behind some paper. It was behind some, you know, like they don't play with their paper. When you deal with the federal notes, they gonna come talk to you. So they came and talked to me, and being that I didn't have a memory, that was how they could lean on me. That was the best they could do to lean on me. And so I sat up for 90 days and went about my business. But just to say, at the end of the day, though, I wound up doing house arrest with a woman that was one of the singers.
Don't say in Vogue because I'm a spaz.
That was hilarious.
You ended up back around.
No. Like she was like the Shirelles. Like I'm trying to think of the
okay.
group, but like from one of those groups. Like she was dated Sam Cooke, and like, and the story, like it was like God put me with her as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's telling me stories about Sam Cooke and things of that nature. Like I just was getting this crazy education. She just passed a few years ago.
God bless.
But but like, you know, like that was just crazy. Like it just so happened, like I had like 48 hours to be situated or violated. I found somebody that I could stay with, you know what I'm saying? And it just happened to be her, and I started getting this education, which blew me away. And you know, what's his name? Stricker. The white dude Stricker. The white dude that stole everybody's fucking publishing. Stricker.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Crazy hair.
Yeah,
he had shot
yeah.
somebody. Like he stole all that publishing and all. Like this shit has been happening generation after generation after generation. Like that's something else I learned. Like,
Now
you know,
you're standing up to fight. You're
Yo.
trying to stop this generation. How's your family doing?
my family is good, man. Like
You talked a lot about unity, family unit.
And-
I see the tattoo.
yeah, yeah, it's the only one I have. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I've learned more than anything is to be a bit more selfless. That you're gonna have to make sacrifices for your family that you wouldn't make for anybody else. But that's why they're your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my word. Some of the shit that I've been through, had it not been something I committed myself to, there's no way I would deal with it. I would refuse every single time. I'm not dealing with no bullshit like that, but that it's mine. I gotta figure out how to fix it.
Wow.
And sometimes the shit ain't pretty. Sometimes some shit I don't even feel comfortable having to fix. But it's mine to fix. And that's something I had to accept within myself on the ugliest day. I was like, oh shit, because, and this is something that's gonna make a lot of sense, because I wished my parents had done that shit. And I stayed in touch with that feeling. I stayed in touch with the feeling of, like, I grew up calling my mom Tori. I didn't even call my mom Mom. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, that shit used to hurt my feelings. Like, you know, 9, 10 years old, and you're walking with your mom, and cats are checking out your mom, and you have to call her Tori. It's almost like you don't want motherfuckers to know I'm your son. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, that's how you feel. Like, you know, like you calling your mom Tori, but motherfuckers is checking her out, and you gotta be like, you know, like, Tori, da-da-da-da-da. It's almost like that motherfucker wouldn't know you my mom. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I grew up. Like those are the little pains that kind of twist you into who you are. And so there were little sacrifices, not even little, there were sacrifices that I felt like I look at my father and how we didn't deal with him. And I wish he had sacrificed whatever the fuck he needed to do to make us a family. Your kid doesn't care about the somatics that adults are playing. They just care about their family. I didn't care my father was on heroin or that my mother was wild or whatever the fuck. That shit didn't matter. It was my family. And there was a sacrifice that you make for your family that I wish my parents had made. Now, when I became older and was able to look it through an adult's eyes,
You understood a little bit.
I had a better understanding. But I still felt like they still supposed to make that sacrifice.
Are you making those?
Yes,
I'm glad you're saying that. I want to touch on that.
yes. Because
So-
that's what I believe. Like when it's yours, it's your sacrifice to make. It's yours. This is your family.
It's worth it.
Right. Right. It's yours. This is and it might not be pretty on the day you have to make that sacrifice, and you might be embarrassed, whatever the fuck, whatever. Your feelings might be hurt, you might be whatever. But get to the other side of it. And there's a strength that only God can give you to get to the other side of that. Like there's a strength in family that our community is missing. And that's why I have to bring it back to community. Come to the table. For us to have a community, we have to come to the table with a family. You don't have to bring money. You got to bring a conviction that we're family.
Purpose.
Word. And that's worth more than the money. If we can start motherfucking just come to the table, that's when cats are like, what can I do? What can I do? How can I help? I'm this little person. How can I stick with your family? That's how you can help. When what the example needs to be, yeah, I had to make quite a bit of sacrifice or had to go through some changes, but we did this.
Would you do it again?
Woo. Yeah. But I would do it better.
I don't think we can top that.
A couple of things that do need to be touched on. I just want to touch on. You know, so for the child, because we all rap for the children. You definitely rap for the child. I was the child for you. You know what I'm saying? More than these guys. So for that child that was listening to you, X-Clan, KRS-One, all of those people that was guided by you, guided into making, you know, the choice is yours. And then somewhere in the 90s, that same child, because he hadn't grown up yet, he was still a child, you know, might have been 15 years old, started hearing stuff that went actually attacking y'all. You know what I'm saying? When I would be real with it, it was destroying the same message that you put inside of me, the same message KRS-One put inside of me, the same message X-Clan put inside
What, you
of
kicking
me.
knowledge?
And you guys slightly disappeared off the scene. So for that kid that was me at that time, I don't know what happened, you know what I'm saying? Where you guys at? You know what I'm saying? Y'all left X-Clan, no, not, take that back, you left NWA and various other groups to now give me the influence, give other young peers the influence that was in the inner city that was totally on the X-Clan, Black Sheep, Poor Righteous Teachers, the list goes on vibe, killed that and turned it into a niggas for life vibe. That was directly, which they might not understand, attack on I feel it was definitely an attack on you. So me as the child, I want to know what happened. Why, what,
Big bang, take a little bang.
what didn't, you know, because if you would have came back and battled those dudes or did something, maybe that kid in me would have, you know,
Would have fought a little harder.
exactly, would have fought a little harder. Y'all guys just like
But
disappeared
you gotta.
at that
This is my word. Like
most crucial time.
right.
They didn't-
It went from
Right.
self-destruction to niggas for life. And I'm like,
It's bigger than them.
and I know they don't understand, but you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
no. They do. They
Because
do.
God might not know.
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no, they
that
do.
Because
I
he
understand. I'm 4 years
understands.
old.
I understand.
I grew
He
up
came
off his
out in
music, too.
1989.
Bro, I was 10
how
years
was
old,
you?
bro.
10, exactly.
I listen to his
But-
music.
but-
I dig it. 10.
You can't tell me I don't understand
There's
where
no
you're coming from.
disrespect.
But you
10.
said it like
No,
3
no,
times.
They,
There's
You
no
say like they don't
disrespect.
understand. I understand,
All right,
bro.
you're taking it the wrong way.
Yeah, but you keep saying
It's
it.
no
I understand,
disrespect.
bro.
10-year-old understands something totally different from a
But it's an
15-year-old.
influence there. You're talking about an
You
influence.
understand?
At 10 years old, when I'm in school
You
and
wasn't in the
I got
street.
my Walkman on
You
and
wasn't
I'm
in the
listening,
street.
it doesn't matter.
Bigger-
and I'm
It does
listening.
matter.
No, hold on.
It definitely
Because I
matters.
listen to Bigger speak. If he's an influence, you're talking about influence, Bigger, right? If I got my
kids.
Walkman every
I'm
day.
talking about an
No, I'm not done,
influence
Bigger.
on a
Listen
certain
to me.
child.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm
It
influenced
does.
by that music. I was influenced by Wu-Tang to go smoke weed. I was influenced by NWA to pick up a gun.
But I'm not
But I was
talking about yours.
But you just said I don't understand.
Lee.
When that transition took
Lee,
place,
why are you making this personal?
nigga, you just sat here and said
Lee.
they don't understand what
Lee.
what I'm
My
saying.
no. He's saying
My age.
saying we may
What
not
don't you understand?
Bro, because you said influence.
He said
My age.
his influence.
My
influence on him
age.
specifically.
What are
You
you
only
not
like 3 years older than
understanding?
me, nigga.
My age.
Nah, nah,
Okay,
nah,
7 years old.
But
Okay.
and influences have
Stop,
levels as
nigga, but
well.
you
Like
saying
like
stuff, but you
I'm
always
7 years
shooting, bro.
older than you.
Bro, but you just said influence. You said a key word.
For my
is
age.
Bro,
All right.
It's still
Didn't
prevalent
listen.
to me because I heard his
Didn't
music
listen.
growing up.
I
But that
love
had
this
nothing
show.
to do with you. That had nothing to
Feel like
do
I'm in the
with
barber
you.
shop.
Nothing
Like, yo,
my
just
age.
hit me with a 5.
My age.
But you
My
bring it in and
age.
say they don't understand.
Alright,
We don't understand-
age.
we don't
What
understand
the
his-
fuck part don't you understand?
You didn't say that, Bigger.
I did.
You didn't say my age.
I
bro.
did.
Bigger.
I did.
Whatever, Bigger.
I said my age.
Nigga, it's over, bro. It's over, bro.
It's not over.
It's over, bro. It's
Now,
over,
let's-
bro. You get all heated for no reason, bro.
Nah, man.
That's so
I'm
good. Nah,
Yes,
you know what?
correct
Nah,
shit.
Because
he's
you expect
passionate.
people, you
That's
expect to say
passion.
what you want to say.
That's
Nobody
passion.
got to say
Correct
nothing.
shit.
Champ,
I correct
Come on,
shit.
man.
And
No, it's
later
not
on
correct.
we'll deal with this,
It's
my
not
dude.
correct.
Yo,
I said exactly to him, my age.
Yes,
it's
yes,
passion.
Bigger.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me
What you talking
Let me
about?
finish
All right,
though.
Bigger.
Bigger.
Ain't I?
Nigga, come
And
on.
Nah,
we
nah,
deal
we
with
got-
it later.
No, we good, fam.
Nah, we ain't good.
We good. No, we brothers. We are good.
We always gonna be
Right,
brothers.
right,
and
right,
sometimes brothers gotta check little brothers to let them know they fucking place.
Yeah, no doubt. But you know what? That's been accomplished.
Fuck out of
All
here.
right, we're good. We're good, family. But listen, what we was talking about was the influence, and you said how we wasn't there.
Did you hear me say my age category? Did you hear me make that clear?
I think it was assumed. You know what I'm saying? Like you speaking for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You speaking it for,
And I
for
made
people.
that clear.
Yeah, you speak.
My age.
And an influence can be different to different people. You know what I'm saying? Like one
And
person.
that's why I made clear.
Did
my
you feel like
age.
you were pushed out?
My age.
Did you
yeah.
feel like you were pushed out?
Yeah,
by
like
that way?
I feel like our voice was diminished, very intentionally. But like I
think
said,
so, too.
I've also broken down why I think our voice
right.
was diminished.
You said that
You know what I'm saying?
earlier.
Like I think that was something that was very intentional.
And I do too.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the point I was trying to get at.
Where
That was the point I was
Right,
trying to
nah,
get
nah.
at. That I felt that was intentional attack, not only on you, but it was an intentional attack on me because it led me and my peers the wrong route.
Was there something?
That's what I was
it
getting
said-
at.
Was there something you felt you could have done? What you and
like what I did was I kept making music with the hope that the platforms would play fair. Everyone doesn't play like y'all play. Everyone doesn't give an opportunity, a chair to a voice. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like as I was seeing what's happening, the less you could hear me. The more I had to say, the more they turned the volume down. And I saw it happening. Once I saw it happening to Public Enemy, you know what I'm saying? Like, mind you, Public Enemy, that's...
Ice Cube went to Public Enemy to go do his solo work.
Look at how they've diminished Public Enemy's voice. That was a voice that was louder than everybody's.
Right.
Everybody's. But it was a smart bomb. And they was like, oh no, we ain't gonna have nothing smart around these motherfuckers.
They didn't want us to follow what y'all had laid down.
Continue to
That's
follow.
the point that I was making.
Right.
They didn't want the children of X-Clan. They didn't want the children of Black Sheep. They didn't want the children of Poor Rights of Teachers. But they did want the children of NWA.
Right.
Like
Now peep, right. Because now this is where the shit comes full circle. Those groups that they wanted were the single fathers that ran.
I know.
Those were the cats that left their family.
They said it in their rhymes.
Yeah.
I never heard bitch, whore, or any of that until I heard NWA, Snoop Dogg, and the rest of them.
I did hear Ho though.
No. But
heard a lot of hoes.
very intentionally, like this.
I'm totally messing with it.
But also too though, very intentionally, like, you know, like that where you have a LASM skit on it that speaks directly to that. Ladies against sexist motherfuckers. Like we were speaking to what we're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Like just in a roundabout way. The ladies against sexist motherfuckers is speaking to the hoes the same way that first skit I Thought I Was Hard is speaking to niggas that's running around acting stupid. Like, nigga, we family out here. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And what you're speaking to is 100% valid, 100% valid. There's a sacrifice that we have to make for our family. And we're family.
And we have sacrificed a smooth 3 hours and change.
That's a big salute.
To get it going. Dres.
This is a legend.
Yeah.
Man, thanks for having me.
Inspiration, though.
No more questions. No more questions. No more questions. No more questions.
No fights,
No more questions. 'Cause
It just only shows that a legend needs more than 3 hours.
yeah, because we'll never
I
get
grew
it
up
in.
off of you know.
I appreciate y'all, man. This is my word, man.
already know.
This dude's
I was the
history.
kid that used to run to Video Music Box and all of that other stuff to put on the stuff and watch the video in 1989.
That was
I'm a
our
little bit
BET.
older, you know, where it affected me to what you
That was
said. I
BET's
understood
BET.
and went out in the
That was
street.
our shit.
Still is.
And,
Shout out to Ralph
and,
McDaniels.
and let me, Ralph McDaniels is a god to me. But yo, let me reiterate, man, something. This is my word. Like, we gotta keep the mentality of family and the sacrifices that we have to make for family, because that is just like they prevented us from reading, just like they stopped us generation. We probably 5 generations allowed to read. We probably 5 generations in allowed to read.
Yeah.
Allowed to read. You know what I'm
So
saying?
it wasn't a crime.
Right. They did the same thing with our families. We just haven't spoken to it. But the same way they stopped us from reading, they stopped us from being a family. And the same way we fought to read generations now, it's the same way we need to fight for family for generations now. There's gonna be times when our family looks like we can't read. We just gotta practice reading. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be times when our family looks like we can't read. But keep trying.
Sacrifice.
Keep trying. Keep sounding those words out.
Because it's worth it.
And this is my word. And sometimes you gotta lead by example. Sometimes even your partner might not see what you see. It's still yours to correct. It's still yours to correct. You understand? So sometimes you might have a little egg on your face as a result of some shit you didn't cook. It's still yours to correct.
What line am I about to say? What am I about to say right now?
Toxic.
Yo, you dropped something right here. Gems, you're dropping gems all over the place. Shout out to Bab Hoffa. Yo, one time for the legendary Dres of Black Sheep, Native Sons, Queens Original. Salute, King.
Thanks,
Every
family.
time. Every time.
Yo, you my
We out.
dude, man. Come on now.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars, I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work, you heard. Making fiends leave earth, you heard. Got your baby mama thirst, you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf, you heard.